Welcome to the Acer Predator pre-show.
That's right, the Acer Predator pre-show is ready to start now. There's a couple more fish in the water, and some of them are predators. In fact, 2 more fish, and those 2 teams are now vying to determine who will take 2nd and 3rd place here in the Americas Minor. My name is Trey Stunna-Sarant. This is time to get the real show started here, boys. The last best of 3 of the minor. It's been a long road and a long, arduous process, but of course, I brought in these 2 to help me pilot this ship. It's going to be Chad, and it's going to be Yona. You might know him as Natu and Sponge. And guys, it's been a long one.
Yeah, look, we've been here for 2 weeks now, and we're finally coming to the end of the second 2 minors. But the fun thing is, even after today, we have 1 more day of action left to go.
It's true.
Because why not, right?
I think out of all of the minors we've had, the Americas one has actually produced some of the most interesting results in terms of stark contrast. Like, we didn't really know what to expect with a lot of these teams.
Yeah, I think it's because there's a lot of teams, obviously, that we don't have a lot of intel, first-hand intel. Obviously, we can just go through the stats pages and kind of see clips and pieces here and there. But then actually seeing them compete in this kind of a tournament where there's so much on the line, yes, I mean, it's been cool to get a little bit more perspective.
Yeah, I mean, we could look and talk about prize pools. I mean, of course, there's 15 grand for 2nd place. There's 5 grand for 3rd. But the real trophy at the end of this is just making it out of the minors, right? This is the first step towards that big stage. And for some of these teams, right, we just watched Greyhound celebrate to no end. And, of course, this is a jubilant time. But it doesn't even end here.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? Obviously, right now, you're giving yourself a technically easier road because if you do come 3rd in this one, you have to take on the likes of North. We've got Windstrike down there. You know, those teams will be all happening in that playoff. But Group A, getting to this point, we saw NRG actually win and do what the favorites so far in all the minors have been unable to do, right? NRG actually went through as the clear favorite. Mouse Sports couldn't do it. Renegades couldn't do it. Obviously, Avantgarde, they still had some hiccups in their road. So fantastic stuff from NRG. Sad to see Bravado fall considering their story. Good signs for INTZ going forward. And Imperial Esports, they pushed INTZ, but all in all, they had to come last. Someone does.
Someone does have to lose, Chad, and sometimes it's us. But in other news, there is a Group B bracket, which I'm pretty sure Natu has been studying to a T, and he's ready to tell you about.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this one, I guess, if you look at it, that Furia was the one to go out into the playoffs first. This group, I guess, for everyone, it was a bit of an open one. You couldn't really tell which team was going to be the team to really progress. United, I guess, was a bit of a disappointment. A team that we were all looking forward to maybe make the playoffs. Did not happen. Team 1 also putting EnVy to the limit. I think that's something that needs to be noted before we just discuss the fact that EnVy was 2nd team to go through.
Before we move on, Trey, sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
Just the Team 1 E-United game, it just has to be stated. If you go back and you look at that, E-United had a huge first half on the first map, and then somehow Team 1 dialed it back, won the first map, and then went on to blow them out of the water on the second. So that has to be one of the biggest upsets or one of the biggest disappointments thus far throughout the minors.
Yeah, there was a situation where Team 1 had won like 5 rounds total in the span of like a map and a half. So
not good.
Yeah.
It's not a good feeling.
No.
Not as united as you would hope they were on their front. However, we do have a playoff bracket. This is how it's shaped up thus far. Energy coming through with a flawless set of wins all the way into what is now the major on the backs of what was a big failure the last time around in the minors. But now we find ourselves here, all the way battling through the lower bracket. Would be this envious lineup, one where there was a lot of doubt placed upon it. I'm just going to say it right now. I, for one, didn't forecast EnVy to make it this far. But perhaps today is the day of reckoning. Perhaps today is the day where they take on Furia, take them down, and find themselves a place in this major.
Well, the first time they played, it was actually 2 close maps, but Furia able to take it with their quirky, more unique style, and that's been noted now. We've seen Carrigan say that he said he wants to play them again, and he gets that opportunity right here, right now. This EnVy project is one that has grown throughout this tournament, so I'm excited. This one here has a lot of potential to go 3 maps.
And I guess as we start to round out this entire, pre-show here, guys, what are some key takeaways for the teams that aren't with us anymore? Some of the ones that maybe didn't find that success. And hell, we know that some teams are already disbanding, but I don't think we have any of those storylines coming out of this so far.
I think INTZ, if they stay together, has a pretty good future. There's some big fraggers in that team. Yell seems like once he has more time to work as the in-game leader for this squad, that double alt setup with him and KNG is quite dangerous. So they're one to watch in the future, I think, from pursuing Counter-Strike.
United, I think, a massive disappointment just in the big picture. I mean, you could tell that they were trying to implement this big boys kind of Counter-Strike style into the way they play, very free-flowing, making good initiatives in mid-round calls. Just wasn't meant to be. A lot of work ahead of them.
Just wasn't meant to be. You know what, Natu? You know what is meant to be? us going to a quick break, because when we come back, we've got the only best of 3 today. That's right, potentially 3 maps, but maybe 2 if all things go according to plan. It's going to be EnVyUs and Furia squaring off on those maps, and we're going to find out exactly what they are when we come back from this break. So make sure you're here with us, because we'll be right back.
One more time. Are you ready? Let's get it on!
Think you can't capture a clutch in full resolution while streaming the play to the world? Watch this. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7.
Prepare for combat. Go forth and conquer.
Vodafone presents the pre-match.
That's right, and just as you see this drone flying around over the beautiful Spodek here in Katowice, Poland, we also have another drone flying amongst us today, trying to find his way into what will be the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice Supreme Major of 2019. My name is Trey Saranthus. Welcome back to the desk for one more best of 3 as we close out the Americas Minor, and I brought in a Finn and an Aussie there to help me along the way, because, guys, we do have a rematch on our hands.
Hey, both of our teams made it to the major. What does that mean?
Easy for us.
We've been, I don't know, we're under the lucky stars.
Maybe. I don't know. But I'm
Northern
excited.
Lights.
Let's get it on. Oh, wait, that's someone else's cup.
Yeah, that's for another time.
Got it.
Wolf, you dogs. The Cathedral counter. Oh, okay. Well,
Can't do any of them.
We'll say it for another time. That's right. Furia and EnVyUs will be our first and only bout of the day, a best-of-3 encounter between these two teams, determining who will take second and who will take third in this here playoff bracket that has become the Americas Minors. It's been a long road for some of these teams, specifically EnVyUs, specifically Furia, who did make it a little bit easier on themselves in their path to this point. But for the time being, Furia Esports will be that center point of conversation.
Definitely so, and we've highlighted time and time again their unique plays, just their interesting takes on strategies, and that's all led by the man in the middle of the screen right there, Art, who is one of the AWPers for this team. And we have seen them all put up really big individual plays, and the way that they can stay poised as such a strong unit while bringing in a unique take is so interesting and enthralling for someone you know, who's a big fan of Counter-Strike like me.
Yeah, I mean, the cool thing is, even though when you look at like statistics, Gerardo has had a great tournament. He's sitting at like plus plus 31 in KD, 1.15 rating. It's still been like pretty much a team effort for them the way they've been playing.
Does it look like they're meditating right now? Honestly, because the coach is talking a lot, and they're sitting there all quiet, meditating, or doing something of the sort. This is next level.
Let's just bring it down for a second and try to grasp this moment. Everybody just quietly. There it is. Yeah, that's nice.
I got it.
I feel a little bit more centered myself. Let's center ourselves now over to EnVyUs Esports. I feel
like ASMR.
Look, everybody,
These guys are a lot less centered, right? We had Carrigan come in and he had to flatten the whole project and start from the way up. But he's invested in this. You can see when the way he talks about this tournament, the way he talks about this team getting to the major is a priority of him, and he can show that he can grab any players and elevate them to that next level. Speaking of people who have been elevating their play, JDM and Cutler rolling back the years, these guys have been standouts so far for this roster.
Yeah, and a player that I've highlighted throughout the tournament that needs to really step it up and be a key component is Nifty. I think he definitely lit it up yesterday. And I think in the big picture, just looking at the way that EnVy was playing yesterday, if you give them the room, they're so good at maneuvering and making those mid-round calls because of just the way obviously Carrigan's been playing high-level Counter-Strike for half of his life now, so you know that helps.
Well, the high-level Counter-Strike is all re-centered around what the potential of this obvious rematch, right? Yeah. I mean, because we have seen these two teams square up before. It did go 2 maps. It did go the way of Furia. Obviously, Furia took that higher road. They took that higher part of the bracket to get to this point. So I guess EnVyUs maybe were given the benefit of a learning curve for themselves playing a little bit more matches.
Yeah, I think that's very much the positive here for EnVy, is the fact that they've managed to now play an official game against one another. I'm not sure if they've practiced before. A lot of the teams have been kind of giving us a signal that the way Furia plays is very unique. You know, even though you go through the demos, it's really hard to then apply it to an actual gameplay, and how do you adapt on the things that are not basically the normal ways you would react in certain situations, the way that you would be adapting in situations. So now they've had that possibility. I think that will help them. Also, the fact that EnVy, in my opinion, has definitely showcased that they have a map pool going on here. They have maps they've been playing really well on.
Yes.
And essentially just playing better and better as a unit.
One of the problems, though, is that they won't get Dust 2 in this one. That is a big issue for the EnVy guys, because they look solid on that map.
They looked very comfortable on it. In fact, we're so comfortable right now into getting this bad boy starting your engines, and we're going to be starting the veto. Nuke the first ban as if we see this unfold in front of us, boys.
What do you think EnVy is going to go for?
I think they'll pick Overpass. Yeah. Their Overpass has looked good. When they played against the likes of NRG, they started slow, but since then we've seen good signs out of them. So if I was the likes of EnVyUs, I'd pick Overpass, and then that really leaves the map pool wide open for wherever you want to take it as Furia. We've seen them play Cage, we've seen them play Inferno, we've seen them play Mirage, we've seen them play Train. So they're going to be comfortable on any of those maps. The problem is, as you were stating, EnVyUs are now aware of these quirks, these little interesting takes, and hopefully Carrigan's worked out a way, at least if you're an EnVyUs fan, on how to beat that.
Yeah, interesting now to see what is Furia's pick going to be like, because it was Inferno last time around, and it was a game where it was a great start for EnVy, but then Furia managed to step it up. Now we see a bit of a curveball there coming in with in the shape of Cash.
And to note as well, they've gone for the same strategy as what NRG did of picking that T side, because we know that Furia, if they don't get the ball run, they don't get the economy up, they can be very disrupted with their CT holds, right? Because it is very utility heavy.
Interesting. Furia taking out Inferno.
Ooh. Yeah, and you know what? That does leave us that Train map. But honestly, guys, as short as our schedule is, as short as the fuse on chat is normally, we're going to have to start talking about Overpass. Really briefly, give me some key core components here to this.
I think this, I'm feeling confident when it comes to EnVy on Overpass. They had a tremendous T side yesterday. Yes, they did get a little bit sloppy towards the tail end of it, thanks to the aggressive play style that INTZ was capable of utilizing in the end there. But I feel like this is one where EnVy is going to take a 1-0 lead.
Carrigan has a lot of B-heavy strats that we've already seen come out, so if you're a fan of Furia, they need to make sure they're getting the opening pick so they can't do those set pieces. And also, if they can adopt something from their Brazilian brothers and try and push them back when they're doing the defaults, you just have to basically delay a bit of time. That's when things are going to become flustered for a team like EnVy, because they're still a very new unit. These mid-rounds are something which is the hardest part for a team with, who are still building synergy.
Right. Well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do it, boys. I'm ready to get into the game, and I'm sure that you are as well at home, because it's time to get into Overpass, and we have to have some commentators who are overly qualified to do this job. We're blatantly not. But their names are Connor Girvin, and it's going to be Mohan Giovanni Javinci. Yeah, take it away, boys.
So close, Launders. What is it, Giovanni
Da Vinci Code.
Right, something along those lines. Myself, Connor Gervin, Mohan Govindasamy, and the very last best of 3 of the North America's Minor is now ready to go. We've had Envy eliminate 2 Brazilian teams already, and this could very well be the 3rd, but they have looked better, seeing as they are coming from the top side of the bracket. And when I say they have looked better, I also speak of Envy on a day-to-day basis. They've been warming up into their performance, and this is when it absolutely matters most, folks, the final line.
EnVy on Overpass, a map that they have improved throughout the course of the event, have gotten better day by day. They've had the executions from day 1, but the follow-through and the spacing and the explosiveness and the trading wasn't there. There was better entries yesterday from Drone. There was more op shots being hit from JDM, and he's been one constant for the team that's kept them alive. But it seems now that all of the pieces on EnVy have come together. Yesterday on Train, I asked Nifty in the hotel lobby, how come you only had 4 kills on Train? and he said he didn't even notice until the game was over, and nobody else noticed either. And so that's a great sign. I mean, it was him who had the only player who had below 10 kills. I think the only player who had below 20 kills, to be quite honest. But it didn't seem to impact the game overall. A lot of their strategy didn't come down to like strong defaults. There was a lot of execution-heavy stuff, but they had a deep game plan. Although it didn't pan out, I can see that practice coming into effect. But I'm also fearful for them when it comes to Train. What a great shot from Art, the player who yesterday on Cash versus NRG was really not having a good game and has been one of the most important fraggers on this team.
Most certainly has, but now he's down. Nifty's found him some behind the tree, so this is the battle of the bottom fraggers from yesterday. Already kicking it off here in the pistol. You know, Team Envy, they finally started to gel on the T side of Overpass throughout the series. We've seen them play it. It was only once we had that long A aggression and the playground aggression from the likes of Ints that they flopped. You know, they were off to a 9-0 start on the T side of Overpass. And so far, looking to just get that very first round on the board. They are down by a man, 3v4 here, with a deep positioning inside of both long and bathrooms. But the counter-terrorists, you see, they've got that kit and smoke too. That could really throw things into the mix, seeing as now already Caesarado's on the bomb. Terrorists not going to be able to get that frag whatsoever because everybody's have their hands full with the other frags across the round.
All players from Furia get kills and the rest of EnVy get taken out. That is a pretty decent post plant by them, but because they couldn't hit their shots, that's obviously a key component in winning the round. There's no doubt about it. Furia had control of the situation, played it very confidently in the 4v3, held on to a smoke, didn't overextend, didn't freak out when when Art died within the site, and that all allowed them to be able to pull that one back safely. So here's the smoke to the back of Monster, as a lot of the Ts have grouped up around middle, and it's just Nifty to be holding an AK. It seems as though Kerrigan's dropped it for him. We saw this 1 AK buy from Furia, funnily enough, yesterday. And it's not totally uncommon to have. Now, I think the best part about this is that normally we've seen teams just full on force after getting a plant on the first round. Here's a situation where they do pull off a buy that you would normally see after not getting a plant, but because of that, save some money and have a chance of winning the round.
This boost system that they're currently using, just putting Nifty on top of heads, this is kind of like at times a 2-layered play. We've seen this kind of sort of eco round from them before. Well, they'll put the smoke here outside of bathrooms, boost Nifty behind it, and try to give him a chance to open up on A site. This round they keep that smoke. Cutler's not going to throw it out. It's just going to be Nifty walking forward, looking for these duels dry. And now, as the T's arrive, he is blown to smithereens. Not to mention that, but there's already a 3-player stack on this bomb site. So unfortunately for Envy, they're going to have their hands full once this entry attempt gets rolling. They do have the scout on Art to assist versus Caesarado, who now locks it down with a double kill and an assist of his own. Everybody from Envy just cut down the moment they got to that A site.
As we saw, the CTs on the site got unblinded, and that's because they were able to throw proper counter flashes to push the Ts back and kind of null the flashes that were coming at them. EnVy had a chance there to get up close to the site, to get onto the site with the good flashbangs that they threw, but because they got blind, were stopped in their tracks, and Furia come away with an easy anti-eco. Always a dangerous situation when the CTs get up through toilets and up to that initial giant choke point in front of the site. Because it is so wide, it's very easy to entry at times. But again, Furia handle it. So now we move into the next round. Bit of a lead here for Furia. The Molotov misses his mark, which allows the Tees to get a bit farther than I think Ard would like, but he's still going to be quite confident in taking these duels. Runs out with the MP7 and goes 1 for 1. Yuri, however, makes that a frag that wasn't taken in vain here. They've now got 4v3, and although Team EnVy are right close to the bomb, they don't have control of the stairs.
Yeah, and a nice angle from outside of short door. You know, looking upwards, you can see the kneecaps. Try to take them down from then on forward. You can still see Abel holding that exact same angle, not only taking JDM to 22 health, just softening up Nifty to 34. The only real way to get past this is to just throw yourself over, and look what happens now. Yuri is supposed to be able to hold that. With the smoke combined, they do arrive down on top of bomb just to their, well, disdain. We've got frags and fire flying through the window, and Nifty hiding in the corner for as long as he can. All the while, Cutler, he's made noise now.
Yeah, 40 seconds up. He didn't know that there was a player in bathrooms, but just starts running so quickly, and he's almost certainly going to get flanked. Even if he doesn't, the bomb will get caught halfway. It's up to Quesarado at what point he wants to take the duel. Also has the option to just deny the bomb plant as it's going down.
Oh, they plant on the other side.
Wow, he gets away.
The rotators are up. Now he's given up his flank, too. This is a chance for EnVy. A slight chance, but a chance nonetheless.
Wow.
You know, it's nice that Quesarado, even though, sure, he misses his chance to get the kills himself, you know, can't catch bomb before it gets behind box. At least that whole time, it was a constant stream of information.
He had a lot of information the whole time, as you're saying, and he could have done, you know, 1 of 3 options that would have been completely safe. He doesn't know, you know, how aware they might be of him in bathrooms, but he knows he has Sanctuary there, so he just kind of holds his position. And funnily, I'm surprised the bomb went down for CT, considering they had just come from bathrooms. You would expect that if Cutler had come there and had a teammate come by as well, they would have assumed it was safe, but maybe they were worried about a late stairs flank, which, you know, could have been a potential threat, considering the bomb was dropped just a few seconds ago. Another pistol round here for EnVy. They don't have any nades to work with. They have upgraded their pistols. Kerrigan hasn't upgraded his skin, but he is out to Monster and has a good opportunity to try to get a kill. Vinny is just a bit too good, however, and wins it with an AK. They've got to try to get some damage in this round, if possible. It's too early for Furia to be building up this much bank, especially on EnVy's map pick.
You praised the T side of EnVy from yesterday, but, you know, don't let that make you forget the fact we've also seen them struggle here.
It's so interesting that they banned Inferno.
Yeah.
I'm not personally that surprised, because it felt like Furia were not doing that many good things on Inferno, or in fact doing some visibly bad things on Inferno, but still keeping it competitive. I feel like they maybe were on the fence about whether or not to ban it. Leaving Train in, though, is just as interesting, because we know EnVy will play Train, and we know that Furia and EnVy both lost to INTZ on Train, right? So, and that made that might have shaken Furia's confidence a little bit, but they do know that INTZ's Train is very good, and maybe don't want to kind of extrapolate too much information from that. But in a third map situation, it could get very interesting. Oh, wow, the temp at the bomb plant. JDM goes down, and, you know, he was at risk of not dying there, so it's probably important that he just exited onto the site. No kills come for EnVy that round. Furia go ahead and just upgrade their guns. I think they have an op on Ard. I'm not sure if he carried that over from the last. JDM will, however, have an op for the first time.
Important you bring him up. JDM actually the highest rated player at the minor in the server right now, 1.16. And then right behind him at 1.15, you have the combination of Yuri and Quesarado. Everybody armed to the teeth this round. No opening pick, but they are cautious of that early aggression.
Yeah, so early op duel shied off. Furia fall back to sites. We saw yesterday, EnVy had a really easy time taking A when there was nobody up in bathrooms. Here it seems like Furia are scurrying around and making it hard to read. That opening duel from Abel J will make things a whole lot more interesting, however, as EnVy start to creep up towards A, but they're moving into 3 people. JDM's op could make the difference. But you imagine a flash will push Art off the angle, and it'll be left in Yuri's hands to try to clean it up. But it seems EnVy are going to avoid long entirely. In this situation, it's not going to be very safe to take A.
Right. And this isn't something they really have run into in their previous Overpass games. EnVy, there are many bodies of Furia here inside the bathrooms. There you go. All three of them successful in their frags. Art, able, Yuri, capable. And it's a near team ace if Vinny can seal it off. Kerrigan left alone, does have bomb, could just try to burst his way onto the bomb site and would find it for near free, but, you know, speak of the devil, here's Vinny. Finds him out into the open, exchange of shots, does give Kerrigan another chance. In fact, the rest of Furia are now all behind him, so if he plants dumpster side or has some cover from mid, then yeah, he's still on for something. Mohan, there's also damage. There's a lot of grenades for Furia on this retake, so you can't help but favor them. But Kerrigan's a genius. You know, it's as simple as that. EU talent, big brain. Not an easy one, but let's let our hearts hope high. No, sir, it is cut down. So he tries to reposition, and it's just Furia. Like we said, with the utility and whatnot, they had a good understanding as to where he could be at that moment. Win the duel, win the round, possibly win the half. 5-0 start is strong.
Yeah, that could have been the kill that made the difference because the other two players, as you mentioned, were really low. But that isn't the case today. And Kerrigan at least manages a bomb plant, so there's a bit more money here for EnVy. They'll rebuy into a similar position that they were last round. But what we saw this round was basically a default that worked out extremely well for Furia. And again, EnVy had a lot of trouble finding out how to get kills versus bathroom control when INTZ started out winning rounds. It was almost 9-0. INTZ won one monster rush, and then after that started playing A completely differently, and EnVy lost 6 rounds straight.
Yep.
A lot of that was because of the bathrooms control that was taken, and so it's good to see that Furia are being proactive in this area. JDM's been known to get these opening kills versus rifles on short B with his op. But as we can see, Furia players being very careful about what angles they choose to fight.
Ooh, grenade trajectory may have cost him his life. Yuri plucked off the top rope, and now you can see EnVy very much toying with the idea of pushing in here. All the while, Furia getting closer to the entries on the bomb site. And seeing as there's only one man in short, assuming a passive position in Cutler, they could kind of counter the control of Lost Monster by moving forward themselves. They do clear it, not entirely.
If they wait long enough, they might, because they got this false sense of security, rotate one out early. And I'm not sure how far back Abel's gone, but this is pretty much all on Vinny.
Yeah. Did you get that rotate coming down from the A site? An AK firing off is enough to keep him wary. There's the peek from Kerrigan, and he even gets the headshot right through metal. Abel, a headshot penetration of his own. 2v3 now as Team EnVy are kind of getting cut down one after another. Molotov onto the bomb site. Vinny's going to play just next to it, and JDM's op has to clutch this. No, not going to happen as Vinny picks up 4.
The stove is electric, but I think they need gas right now, and it's such a slow kind of creep into the site after they get the opening kill. The get out monster, like, go ahead and get the bomb down. Try to wide swing on pit, the one position that wasn't smoked out. I wonder why it was that EnVy worked so slowly at that moment. It just seems kind of lackluster. There was no actual threat, and when they crossed into enemy territory, when they crossed that pillar into a position that they know was no longer mollied or flashed, why didn't they throw another flash? And why didn't they go with their initial flashes? Those are questions that they should be asking themselves. It just kind of looked, I don't have a better word for it, but pathetic to be able to see to see them just kind of drift onto the site one at a time.
It's kind of boring.
We saw so many good B execs from this team, as Chet brought up. They had a lot of them. And this was definitely not something that won them rounds in the other matches they played. I actually can't even reference another round where they had such a lackluster walk onto a site after getting the man advantage and setting up for a full exec. So I don't know. Maybe they're just starting off too slow, and that's working against them. Maybe they're a little nervous, but they need to get fired up because Furia seemed totally prepared as we saw them meditating before the game started.
Meditating beforehand, and I'm sure, you know, speaking of being fired up, getting pumped now that they have that 6-0 start. You know, that energy is already electrifying, whereas EnVy still find themselves flat. A little little bit of damage as the T's trickle in. Yuri activated back from the corner, just mowing him down on the AUG. That is 4 kills for him, and Arts Op locks down long 7-0. Envy, where are you at?
Absolutely a match and a map that could end the match. Now Furia up 7-0 here on CT side, looking strong as ever. Haven't even been pushed to the limit, so we can't even talk about what adjustments Furia need to make if they are, if they are beaten at the A site at bathrooms. There's not been a round where Envy have gotten the bomb down, I think, on a rifle, where they've looked confident getting into a site. This might be the round they do it, however. But at the same time, Furia keep up the variation. Have gone for a boost over the smoke at A. Don't spot anybody and will fall back quite quickly. They have to be concerned, of course, of the threat that Envy are grouping up for a monster hit. Envy, however, are just trying to remain inconspicuous as they seek out some pushes that aren't actually coming. They do avoid getting opt from Art and have stirred up the rotations quite heavily. Now we look to see what the next step for them is. Seems like they might turn their attention to long. Kind of a bunk flash thrown by Nifty previously to get himself out. It did work, but it didn't go deep enough, and so Art was not even worried to sit there and wait the entire time for the peak. 3 players from Envy creep up now as they take top bathrooms control, and it's theirs. And once again, they have the control they're looking for. Yuri will be the first line of defense behind enemy lines for Furia.
Yeah, Art's helping him out. Kind of keeping his op floating around, and KS Serato will then even support the opper. So it looked proactive from Envy. They pieced together that long control. They did it rather swiftly, but then Furia take an initiative and seemed to double back here. The utility being thrown out from Monster could confirm their feelings that the B hit is under question, that it is now under siege. But it's Vinny underneath the ledge. This is a great spot for him we've seen as of late. He is looking for these players in the back line, and it costs him. JDM's op has created further space for the bomb to be planted. Yuri walking in. He's going to go silent. KS Serato just next to him, and we do still have that art towards Graffiti. Now he peeks upwards, catching Drone by surprise as Short is still smoked off. JDM hitting the first shot, nearly the second, but now he's seen all 3, and he cannot get the kills. That's the biggest problem. It's left Nifty alone, 1-7 at the moment, looking for the first round on Envy, wins the duel, peeks out, but a moment too slow. He is going to rob the defuse. Yuri, that's just unfair.
Yeah, unlucky. They pull the retake off, and it didn't seem like they would have enough time to do it. Envy cannot come back from that 1v2 easily. They do have enough to buy up here, but how the round started was obviously this kill from Yuri to take that to a 5v4, maintaining long control and clearing any suspicion that it might be A. So the rotations can come out, but Envy were a lot faster this time about entering the site. The trades were really good. JDM covered the bomb planner. And ultimately, it just comes down to the post-plant situation where they can't deliver. Art, oh my goodness. Gets a fantastic kill, but an even more ridiculous shot back from JDM. What was that trade? We'll have to catch that on the replay. That was absolutely nuts.
Then, however, Nifty's found walking into the scope of Yuri. Sniper having picked up both the opening kills for Furia at the moment, and all while that action was unfolding at A, we've had Able J push up into short. This is going to be good information for him with Vinny as well. Not inside of the bomb site as we've seen, but floating towards the short connector. Or so he was. He will actually assume a similar position as to where he's been at, but that's where Drone will catch him flying through the skies. And they know something else could be sitting in wait towards short, so smoked off, but how wary? How wary are they of this potential flank? It's already in position. JDM's gonna peek out, not anticipating it to be so close to him. Now Cutler's gonna look to get close to his opponents, walks forward into KS Serato, who's confirmed both bodies for Envy, and him and Yuri will take them both down. 8-0 from Furia, about to be 9.
Another round where they get that fantastic entry that's required. Drone, it was so reminiscent from Drone for him to get that jumping shot, and yet they don't pull it off in the post plant. We saw it a lot from the CT's perspectives, how they were able to get the kills they did, But what we don't know is like how EnVy are not hitting the shots. Here, for example, they crossed up for the double peek, and I guess because the angle's too tight, they can't trade that kill, but you know, it just has got to happen at a certain point. And I think either of those could have been absolutely pivotal. If JDM had killed the flank, or if they had taken the AUG down in CT spawn, then they have a whole different post-plant situation. They could push in. The AWP is probably not going to have an easy fight for himself. They could get to heaven control and play post-plant from there. Art, the hero from last round. Oh, spots. And then just the side of drone, and that's all he'll need. Absolutely no assistance as EnVy have made their way on a fast track to A.
Yep, they're just going to take that death and try to make the most of it. Moving inwards, Cutler a little delayed, and importantly so, seeing as he will find Yuri. Now Art's going to boost the man up and over. This is KS Serrato with a chance. He's going to duel versus bathrooms and lose his head for it. The players within this bomb site still trying to fight their way outwards, taking damage, but finding themselves with a temporary advantage. JDM has a gap to play. He's going to throw down a smoke of his own, and this gives him further space. Remember, bomb, well, it's on top of Optimus Prime. And JDM's watching the mid-site cross. Here's the bomb tap, knowing Art is on it. A molly that doesn't quite hit the mark, but JDM's op sure will. EnVy on the board, 10 rounds deep.
Absolutely heads-up play from JDM. Nice in the 2v2 to use that smoke for cover so that he could cross. There's obviously a situation where he doesn't use that smoke and tries to dry peek. Could have got traded out 1-for-1, and the bathrooms post plant would have been useless versus Optimus. So you know, you've got to give him all the credit there. He bails EnVy out of a tough situation. They're going to need to put the two in a row together. Otherwise, this story will be a short one. There's now a attack pause called from EnVy as they try to figure out what they should do next. The pace was kept high on that round. They did lose drone really early at stairs to Art, but after that kill, immediately made their way up A. And Cutler lagging behind at long actually worked out quite well.
Yeah.
As there was somebody there, but I think because of all the footsteps heard ahead of him at long, it made it so that I think it was Yuri was not prepared for the thought of a flank.
Shot. You know, we always talk about that, players jumping into position and dying because of it. This round we had it behind the wall. Round prior on the B bomb site. Remember, Vinny gets caught jumping onto the wood by drone. So at least EnVy making the most of those minute opportunities, taking the advantage when they can. And taking initiatives too. We've got JDM thrown up behind sandbags already. CT doubling back right into the crosshair.
That's big. That's the player who's supposed to be watching monsters, so they might be aware that there isn't a second one. However, Art's there to try to equalize and doesn't find an opportunity, misses an op shot and falls back to site. B is basically wide open. Able J, oh, excuse me. They've got a stack here to watch Monster.
Just dancing on his head.
So there's still an opportunity. I would be worried if I was in this position because JDM was totally aware of it last time. 3 on the beam bomb side as a minute passes by. And EnVy have decided to group out for the monster hit.
Molly can section players off. It's going to cost him a little bit of health, but Nifty on the entry, running over top of the barrels, doubling back as Art gets that op into position. There's a smoke of his own as well amidst it. Abel just dodging bullets at the moment. And Nifty still takes that high road, pushes forward with Cutler, both of which cut down. JDM has something in the round, but nothing more than one. Immediately once EnVy get on the board, it's Furia to bounce right back. 2 survivors for them, and that B hit is really not working out at the moment.
No, I mean, they try to get in the site a lot more fast. I mean, they were adamant about pushing for pick control and try to get their kills that way. I think that's better than when they couldn't even get to the bomb plant zone and seemed to only have the objective to put the bomb down, but did it so slowly that it made it easy for Fury to separate their engagements. At least here they push through, but it's a bit discombobulated. They end up running through their own smokes and giving the CTs advantages. And as we saw, the AUG was able to just light them up, and I don't even think there was a shot back in their direction. So EnVy lose a critical round. What more can you say? They've only got 1 round in this half. They managed the 1v2 from JDM, or the 2 kills in the 2v2, excuse me, from JDM to pull him back. He is able to pull back, or to pull out another 5v4 by just walking up short B for free. An individual play that's just something you can credit him for and no one else. He's been able to find these miraculous kills in spots when EnVy need it, but they aren't helping him out.
Yeah, isn't that the sad reality? The one time we really see JDM kind of go above and beyond on the B site, that one most successful B round, and remember, Furia get the defuse. So, bit of a robbery there. Try your best and still come up empty-handed.
There's so many things that EnVy could do differently, and I feel like some of it is just the fundamental stuff, which is kind of unfortunate. Like even on that train match where they, you know, kept losing, executing versus INTZ, and just getting destroyed by these like great off angles they were holding. There's so many good things to say about the way INTZ were playing. In this situation, yeah, Furia are doing great, holding their own, but it really doesn't feel like EnVy are giving them a run for their money. And once again, it feels like because they're not getting pushed that next level, it's hard to even talk about what they should try to change. It's like they need to do what they're doing already a little bit better. But at least the tempo's kept up. We know, or something that we talked about was just that they, on T side, have been moving quite quickly, whether it's fast execs or going for map control quite quickly. And because they're somewhat of a new team, it makes sense for them to not play the round out until the last 10 seconds and meticulously work map control in tandem in different spots across the map. It's probably better for them to just group up or split and carefully work map control, but try to keep it at a relatively high tempo. They've also got a lot of fraggers that are willing to take fights, and I feel like using that and just heightening that will result in much more successful rounds. But here they're struggling in almost all departments.
Yeah, the fragging one as well being a crucial error, and that is where we saw Furia dispatch of EnVy last time they matched up on Overpass. You know, we didn't, it wasn't necessarily critiquing the rotations and decision making of EnVy at the time. It was just more so EnVy being outclassed, Furia looking sharper. But EnVy still capable of cutting through this B site if necessary. Vinny waiting on the edge of the smoke, finds the trail of the T's and takes down the backside. Abel can't find anything further than one, so at least it's efficient trading going in for EnVy, enabling the bomb plant. But now what? Well, Art's up into the heavens, and Kerrigan catches a player down towards Graffiti, but it's traded back all onto Drone. He's been impressive individually here on Overpass. Can he give us the clutch? He's got KS Serrato close. He's just gonna let KS Serrato walk forward, jumps the gun, tries to spray, and walks into his own death. Riddled like Swiss cheese, EnVy still on one.
Yeah, what can you say? Good round from Furia. They perform the retake. EnVy try to brute force their way into the B site. They get the bomb down one more time, but Furia get the round 12-1 as we move into, and we near the end of the first half. Pretty disappointing performance so far from EnVy. There's no real way to sugarcoat it. I think, unfortunately for them, they look like a shadow of themselves. And I'm talking about a shadow of them from yesterday, where they actually looked pretty fantastic. And on this map as well, Furia could be a great challenge for them. Kerrigan said earlier today that he wasn't going to get caught off guard by Furia again. He said he'd never played them before, so even though it's kind of been understood that Furia have been amazing in scrims, and a lot of teams have been waiting to kind of play them at a LAN, they haven't been proven. They have been now, and they've been putting up a fight. But at the moment, it feels like a professional boxer versus an amateur boxer, and it's like just no, you know what it feels like? It feels like two amateur boxers, but one practiced for 6 months, and then one got drunk last night and showed up. And that's not what EnVy did. I know for a fact they didn't do that. That's not at all what I'm implying.
But jumping through smoke on a gun buy as they filter forward into the B bomb site's not going to work out either. They do still get some trades back in. Nifty and JDM with a little something after Vinny holds the line entirely, but the flank's so fast, the rotation's so swift. It's looking to me like Furia are going to the major.
It feels like it.
Like it's just that's what they've showed up to accomplish here today.
Yeah, things can go map by map, but yeah, this is EnVy's map pick. So yeah, it's hard not to harp on it. Fortunately for them, just kind of a force up as we round out the half. And once again, they don't get into the B side. The rotations are good enough for Furia.
they really struggled to get past kind of that barrel / column control on the B bomb site. Vinny's been locking that down whenever he is tested.
And the individuals are just super sick from Furia. I mean, even on Cash yesterday versus NRG, they look so nuts that, like, even though NRG, like, maybe were less prepared than on Cash, should have still just destroyed them, and they made it close. There were so many incredibly heroic individual plays from each of these players.
Okay, Zerato puts down that Molotov. Drone's the only man to go through it. 17 HP, but behind enemy lines. So this is going to cause some awkward situations for them. They know exactly where he's at as he fires off, knowing, of course, that he's being encapsulated. Now, Nifty, they may not expect him because the rest of the team has left here. They actually didn't hesitate at all, going all the way back to the depths of which they came, through spawn towards B. And what are they going to find when they get there? It's just graffiti control. Furia evacuating the bomb site, offering that over, and still then just taking it away the moment EnVy have it. We've got the bomb thrown down into the open. JDM floating around here, swapping to the AK, tries for the headshot as Nifty does get this flank downwards. But now, surely they find out because they're about to lose one of their own.
Was JDM worried about getting mollied out? Is that why he peeked? This could have been a good situation where if Nifty had a bit more time to work, could have pulled off a sick flank.
Almost hits Art as well, still just tapping away at him. 15 seconds means he's got to get this one rolling. Will catch the head of Art. That's 2 frags, good wall spam.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, he's just got to get moving at this point.
Ooh, he could have seen the player. He did. Abel's down. For sure, no. Uses the covers, peeking wide. 14-1. That's right. 14-1. Furia with a masterclass on the CT side of Overpass, just dismantling EnVy on their map choice. So we're going to give EnVy a couple of minutes to catch their breath, try to figure out where the hell they are, and we will be back with that second one. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience. We are back with the second half. Furia swapping over to the T side, EnVy on the defense, and I'd also say the back foot.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's fair to say. Yeah, unfortunate half to say the least, and not much wiggle room for them to come back if they even mess up the pistol here. So could be last chance saloon as we move into the second pistol. 14-1 half for Furia. They look fully in control, ready and prepared. And we know EnVy were prepared, but they didn't seem ready.
Seems like they could be ready for this pistol round. I mean, we've got 8 players stacked up between the two teams. They are going to clear corners and lose heads. At the same time, the trade frags are there for the moment. Nifty could get it all done. It's him versus Abel inside of the staircase. He's going to try to escape, and Cerrado just chips away at his health yet again.
Yeah, they just bully him back in the 2v2. Options are open for both sides at the moment. It's Furia who can obviously control what bomb site they go to, and it looks like they're going to take the attention over towards Kerrigan. The smoke is going to make it hard to actually spam this. Kerrigan looks for the opportunity to kill him as he exits the site and actually does get that frag. They know Cerrado, excuse me, is just lagging behind. The bomb gets tapped and forces Cerrado's position. He's going to move out to spam the bomb. But now, in the Sanctuary of Sandbags, is he going to be okay? There's a chance here for him to separate the engagements, but EnVy pull it out and they at least get a second, or at least get the pistol. I really did think that Overpass was going to be a map that, leading into the Major and during the Major, a map that will be more and more CT-sided as people simply just get better with the AUGs. And the AUGs have been such a boon for the CT side, as we've seen in this minor and just recent matches in general. But, you know, 14-1 is just obviously too much, and that's no excuse for the half that EnVy had, obviously. But at least there's, you know, maybe a chance that this game could be somewhat competitive. We'll find out.
They buy up. Why not? Furia are probably boiling over with confidence at the moment. So we've got Art and Cerrado sacrificing their splendors over to the 3 other players here. SG, double AK, hell, even 2 nice belts of utility.
Some really nice defaults from Furia that allowed them to kind of dismantle EnVy, whether it was inside or outside the bomb site. Here on the T side, let's see how they play, considering what they attempted to pull off in the first half. That SG will be recycled as Art picks it up. But a good opening kill from JDM to get information and a frag on long.
These are the boosts that I was talking about. EnVy had used them on their T side earlier this week. Never really actually saw it come out today, but it is successful for Furia on the fall off. That smoke grenade fades. They clear Cutler out of the corner. Now they're looking to test this B bomb site with a 2-2 split. If they hit short and monster, then there's definitely pressure falling onto the shoulders of Drone. He does have the support of Nifty on short, but Nifty will be preoccupied with 2 players of his own. Drone gets neither. They just bounce around in the middle of his screen, and because of it, it seems like Furia have themselves a sight. Kerrigan can't even get one from the heavens. JDM takes the flank by storm, at least removing Art from this situation, but it's a 1 versus 3 and a 4K in the round that he'll need. No kit on him and no information as to where that second man's at. He'll take the long flank around. Should be able to clear this deep corner. Cerrado's in it. He's bouncing off of the rounded roof of course, that tunnel, but blindsided, completely blindsided by Abel. Goes for the aggressive peek, gives him the bag, and gives EnVy 13 rounds for a comeback.
An easy match point here for Furia. A great flash on Drone, did just enough to displace his aim and disallow him from being able to have a fair fight. As we can see, arm over face, gets taken out by the deagle of Cerrado, who actually turns it into a multi-frag. And then the post plants, obviously, pretty easy. JDM does give it his best shot, coming in for the 1v2 retake through Monster, but only gets 1. Goes down, and once again, Furia are back into the power position. And we see a round like that loss, and we can directly point to just mechanics, and maybe their setup also got called out. It seemed fairly obvious to Furia that somebody was on the right side of Monster.
Yep.
We know Drone has drifted there many times on Overpass, and also Cutler's position. Not a totally uncommon position, so it might not have been read based, but that little bit of spam just to push him out, and then
position that's even more common when they see that smoke outside of mid A.
In case Cerrado heard footsteps here.
He's going to catch Drone on the push-up. There goes JDM as well in mid, so both sides of the map softened up. Just pistols remaining here for EnVy.
Furia play a strange but interesting brand of Counter-Strike. I've heard some players call them random. I've heard them call them good. I think I haven't seen the random too much, honestly. I've seen a lot of good.
Yeah, even great.
Yeah, even great.
Just tearing through this B site too. So Cutler's flank, and then that rotation from Nifty with the scout, which hasn't actually got all too much damage this round. He's looking to cut somebody off from short. Bomb actually circumvents the threat. That's now planted. Art looking upwards. Cutler falls down on him. And oh no, they've had enough. They've been through enough already. You're gonna stab the poor guy. Cutler sliced. And Nifty down, folks. 16-2 Furia Esports. Hot damn. What a way to start off this series. And what a way to start off a series that's not just to continue your life at this tournament, no, but to qualify for IEM Katowice. Sure, they lost to NRG yesterday. They did have a good showing. They had some stuff to impress, but this may have been some of the most impressive. If we talked about the gap between NRG and the rest of the teams at this minor, Furia are looking to make a similar argument for themselves here today.
They seem pretty ecstatic about the map, as they should be. Again, it is EnVy's map pick, so that is probably going to be the biggest threat out of the way. They move on to Cash. They had strong individual performances on Cash. Cash is a map that highlights strong individual plays, and EnVy don't seem to be showing up in that department today.
No, I mean, you can see the disappointment on them, but let's give them time. Let's give them time to try and reset before we move on to Cash. It's Furia's map choice and potentially Furia's playground unless EnVy can bully them back. Folks, we will see you after the break.